Is time travel possible?
We can definitely travel into the future by moving faster relative to everybody else. And then you'll come back less aged than those you left here on Earth.
I rather like the sound of that.
The tricky part.
The Oscar-winning movie Interstellar is one of the best films to portray how time travel works and what actually happens when we go to other planets. And even in the past, the idea of time travel was considered something out of a science fiction novel or a movie plot made to captivate audiences. But have you ever wondered if any part of this fantasy could ever become a reality? Well, if you think it's not, you might be on the wrong side of the argument. So join us today as we're going to take you through a fascinating journey of time travel and unravel some facts about how this would be possible to see your future. The idea of time travel can be broken down into two concepts: traveling forward in time to the future and traveling back into the past. Traveling forward hasn't really been a tricky question to answer for a few theoretical physicists. But the idea of traveling back into the past, now that's a real head-scratcher for the entire science community as a whole. We know that time itself only travels in one direction, so being bound by time, as everything is in the universe, we travel along with it, thus moving forward in time. But if you were to move a bit faster than everything and everyone else, then you'll be traveling across time faster. That's the same idea proposed by Albert Einstein in his theory of relativity. Einstein theorized that if we move at a significant fraction of the speed of light, then we would be experiencing a phenomenon known as time dilation, where things around us would feel as if they were slowing down. This idea proved that time itself isn't an absolute constant. It can be slowed down or even halted altogether. But does that count as time travel? Well, technically, it does, because you'd be traveling through time at a speed different than everyone else on Earth. Now, what if you wanted to travel back in time, let's say to a moment that you really cherished and still remember fondly to this day? Well, new research says that it can be possible as well. There are still more than a few paradoxes that keep scientists up at night pondering the question of whether it really is safe or if it would just result in an all-out war, apocalypse, or world-ending scenario. Aside from all the doom and gloom, there are a few paradoxes that make traveling back in time as illogical as it sounds. Starting with the grandfather paradox, let's say a man who was to build a time machine and travel back in time to the point when his grandfather was young and didn't have any kids of his own. And if that hypothetical person, by some accident or happenstance, ended up killing his grandfather, then his parents would never have existed, meaning he wouldn't have existed either. So that means that his grandfather is still alive since he wasn't even born to go back in time in the first place. I know, this is more than just a brain teaser. Have you ever gone stargazing, looking at those shimmery little dots in the serene nighttime sky and enjoying the view? Well, then congratulations, you're a time traveler as well. The light that comes from these stars has to travel such an unimaginable amount of distance through space that it literally takes them years to reach us. Let's take the example of the famous North Star, Polaris. It is 323 light years away from Earth, meaning it takes a whopping 323 years for the light from that star to reach us. So if you're looking up at the night sky with a telescope and catch a glimpse of Polaris, then that glimpse is 323 years old. Similarly, if there's an alien being out there somewhere around 65 million light years away, and that being happens to look up towards Earth with a powerful telescope, then it wouldn't be looking at us. Instead, it'll be seeing the extinction of the dinosaurs. Crazy, but that's how time, space, and light work in this vast universe. Another thing to consider when we talk about the vastness of space and time travel is the presence of wormholes. You see, theorists believe that time and space aren't really separate entities. In some cases, they're considered together as space-time, and this entire universe is considered a fabric that has been woven together by space and time. Now, what would happen if this fabric folded in on itself? Well, if we talk about a fold that forms on a regular piece of cloth, then we can merge two faraway points together, right? If space-time works the same way as this fabric of the cloth as theorists say, then we can merge to different points in time together and easily jump from now to whenever and wherever we'd want to go. But for this to happen, we'd need to make technological advancements that we can't even comprehend at this moment. Controlling gravity to make these wormholes is one facet of this whole conversation. Another facet would be being able to control how far into the past we'd want to go. It's safe to say that we are nowhere near building a machine such as this. Although we can experience this gravitational phenomenon if we get close enough to a black hole, black holes are an actual observable phenomenon that is considered to be these tiny little rips through the fabric of space-time that form because of an overwhelming amount of gravitational force. The gravity that it possesses is so immense that even light isn't able to escape its pull, giving it the name black hole. Here's another question. If black holes really do exist and we have observed them in space, then how does one come to form? Or even better, can we actually make a black hole ourselves? Like most complex questions in science, this is yet another one where theorists say that they don't really know the full deal. However, we do know that black holes are made when a giant star implodes or collapses on itself. You see, a star constantly keeps on giving out energy in the form of heat and light through radiation. The forces of radiation can balance out the massive gravitational force, causing a stalemate between them. But as time passes and the star runs out of fuel, that stalemate ends and the gravitational force wins, causing the star to collapse under its own immense gravity. Within microseconds, a tiny black hole is formed right where the center of the star used to be. Under this massive gravitational force, even time itself seems to slow down. So if you were to spend just 1 minute by the edge of a black hole and somehow escape its force and come back to Earth, you'll be shocked to see that 700 years have gone by, simply making this another form of time travel. We may not have the resources right now nor the intelligence to actually comprehend how much work might go into the actual equation of time travel, but we sure do have one thing, and that's the infinite wonder and the forever inquisitive human mind that just might actually get us to the other side of the conversation and make time travel a reality. Until then, let's just learn to be content with living in the present. That's all for today's video. We hope you enjoyed our content. If you did, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video from us. Take care, be well, and dream away into the future.